trouble out of turn 2. One car slow in the middle of the racetrack. Parker had run out of gas. They were 3 wide behind him, and the car shooting through the middle piled into Parker. Ashton Lewis. The speed differential, Darrell, between those cars was at least 70 or so miles per hour.
Well, just like we saw last week when Matt Kenseth just pumped it a little bit off the corner and Biffle got into the back. I mean, imagine what happens when you run out of fuel and just stop. Here's Parker up here, and you can see he's slowing down. He's trying to get down to the inside, and he just pulled right down in front of Ashton Lewis. And here comes
Tim Fedewa.
He has nowhere to go. I'm sure when the car ran out of gas, Hank Parker tried to get down out of the way, knowing that he was going to be in harm's way, and he just drove right down in front of those cars behind him. That's a big hit. One's running wide open, the other's trying to get out of the way and slowing down. Most of these cars are just the way they're made. They don't give you much warning, do they, Larry? They just run out of fuel and they quit. Nothing that Ashton Lewis could do. Parker just ran out of fuel and was trying to get down out of the groove, and here these cats come, and the spotters couldn't even warn him quick enough. Looks like everybody's okay.
And Darrell Ashton had quite a run coming through turn 2 underneath Tim Fedewa. He was going to, but he couldn't quite clear Fedewa before he got to this car out of fuel.
This is the 66 car that got caught up in the mess and into the outside of a training wall. So all these cars are badly damaged. Everybody's fine. Everybody's out walking around. I'm sure somebody's saying, hey, what happened anyway?
That was Hank Parker, who stretched that fuel mileage just 1 lap too far.
The pickups in these fuel cells are so that when they'll run until there's no fuel left in them, and when they run out, they just quit all at once.
Sawyer, who just had a hard crash in turn 2. It started when the 11 of Marty Houston tangled with the 61 of Tim Sauter, and Elton Sawyer came into that scene full bore. Look at the front end of his Brad Akins Ford. Elton is okay.
11 car gets down on the apron, comes back up the racetrack into the 61. Now watch this, when the 61 comes down and Elton hits him running wide open.
There's nowhere for Tim Sauter in the 61 to go, and as they slide down off the banking, just nowhere for Elton Sawyer. What a hit.
And let me tell you, the 61 car, Tim Sauter's lucky that wasn't in the driver's door. It was just behind the driver's door, and that was a blessing.
Once again, the whole problem, the 11 car, Marty Houston, got those left side tires below the white line on the apron, shot him up the racetrack and spun him.
Second week in a row that Marty Houston has had a single car sprint to bring out a caution. Here's Joe Nemechek, your leader, in the pits. So is Michael Waltrip. Todd Bodine completes his service and gets out. Checks away. Jeff Green in the 10, Greg Biffle in the 60.
That's a happy bunch of guys. That was a great stop.
We did note that Elton Sawyer was wearing the HANDS device, the head and neck support that the driver wears as a yoke over his shoulders, under his shoulder harness, and the helmet attaches to that. Now there's Marty Houston walking away. Jeff?
I'm telling you right now, that HANDS device right there may have been the one thing that just saved Elton Sawyer a trip to the hospital today, guys, because we talked about it since Daytona, how that device right there can keep your head from snapping forward, and that right there was one whale of a hit that he just took.
Rescue workers talking with Tim Sauter, who, from what we see, is still inside his car, and there is the remains of the front end of Elton Sawyer's machine.
Battle for second right here, Greg.
Whoa, no, don't do that.
Whoa, Ryan Newman into the outside wall there.
Somebody got into the back of him and got him started up the hill. That's what I was hollering about. He's lucky that he got hit from behind. He's lucky that he hung on to it at all. And yes, Mike, he pancaked.
Yeah, he slapped it pretty hard there, Darrell.
You know, 5 of the 6 drivers there in the top 6 are all Winston Cup drivers. That's something we had talked about. Maybe that experience would probably pay off today.
Right now, he's got all the tire smoke and being filled inside, being filled with smoke.
He's down low, and that 8 car comes up there and gets it. That's when I started hollering right there, and I knew he was in trouble. And he gets up there and gets in that gray stuff. A lot of sand and rubber and dirt get on your tires. Car won't cut. Into the wall he goes.
That was Blaze Alexander, an 8 car that actually got into the back of him.
And we're going to stay green.